Hi, I'm Daniel James. Welcome to this week's Livewire. My guest on this week's show is a man who, well, two huge bands from the 80s, the Specials and the Fun Boy 3. I cannot wait to talk to Mr. Lynval Goulding. Welcome to Livewire, Lynval.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here. Honored to be here.
It's lovely to have you. I know at the moment you're promoting a box set which is coming out of 69 of the Fun Boy 3 recordings, and there's remixes and B-sides and rare stuff. So does that come out in the next couple of weeks?
I think it'll be out, I think the 4th of August.
Fantastic.
Pretty soon. Mm.
Great. Well, look, I want to go right back, if you don't mind, right back to the beginning, because when I looked you up and I was finding out the information and background stuff, obviously you were born in Jamaica, is that right?
That is correct. St. Catherine, Mendes, St. Catherine, Jamaica.
And how old were you when you moved to Gloucester?
I was about 12 or 13.
Right. So you were there till you were about 17, and then you moved to Coventry.
Moved to Coventry. That's right. Yes.
That must have been a bit of a contrast. I mean, you've got Jamaica, then you've got Gloucester. What was that like for you, that move to Gloucester?
It was we come, we're pre Windrush generation basically,
Yeah.
and we on the Ascana ship, which was an Italian ship, and we come in October and leaving Jamaica, and we stopped like in Lisbon, on the ship, and it was beautiful. I thought, my God, I can't wait to get to England. If England's going to be like this, wow, I can't wait. We got here, it was October. We got here, it was cold. It was miserable. I just wanted to turn around and go straight back to Jamaica. But unfortunately, as a 12, 13-year-old, you've got no saying where you go.
Did you come over with your mum and dad, or just one of you? Who did you come over with?
I come over with my auntie.
Okay.
My father was already in England, and my mother and my father, they broke up. So it was my father's turn to have the children.
Yes.
So me and my sister, we come over with my auntie to meet up with my father who lived in Gloucester.
And you shivered. I bet you shivered for the first 6 months.
Oh my God, my fingers went blue and red and yellow, all the colors under the earth. It was so cold. Because come from a tropical country. We just got coming at the wrong time.
Yes.
Which is weird. Don't forget, in those days, winters were severe. It was cold.
Yes. You had deep snow in those days, didn't we?
Yes. And I remember back in the days when they get those plastic things and scrape the ice off the car windows, because it was all iced up,
Lynval, I know it's a funny question, but the very first day it snowed, did you go out and look? And how was that for you?
It was amazing because we've never seen snow before. We went out there and we fight with the snow. But after a while, your fingers start getting a bit, and all in a minute. This is crazy stuff. Man's are freezing now, What turned from fun to cold, get back in. And then we get back in, right? And back in those days, they had those paraffin heaters, You put your finger on door, and then, your fingers start, this is not right. Something's wrong here, It was pretty weird.
Did you settle into school okay?
Schools were in Gloucester. Linden Road School was tough because I knew nothing about racism as a kid in Jamaica. And at school, school can be ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, at the time, So the racism part about that was, and you remember back in those days, right? You had like the black and white minstrel show and TV of like Tarzan swinging through the jungle with all the blacks, the savages, and all that, So imagine the teasing at school, how tough it was, It was pretty hard.
I'm not comparing it, but I was a fat kid at school, and they weren't kind. School kids can be cruel, whatever. If there's anything vaguely different, they can be cruel.
They can be cruel. Really, really. They can be really mean.
Did you have any music in your life then? I mean, obviously, you probably listened to your dad's records, did you?
No. In Jamaica, we had a little transistor radio. With little batteries in, and obviously we listen. We had the radio. Other matter of fact, we get quite a bit from Cuba, all the Cuban music come across because Cuba is quite close to Jamaica, you know.
Mm.
So we do all that stuff, and obviously like the likes of like those Fats Domino and all those sort of, you know, which was, you know, Jim Reeve and the early Elvis Presley stuff, you know. We hear all that stuff in Jamaica, you know.
So it must have been a contrast when you get to England and you've got Top of the Pops and English pop music.
It was absolutely amazing because one thing I must say, I give back credit for part of my musical adventure is with my stepmother, because she bought me all the Beatle suit and the Beatle boots and all that stuff, you know. I mean, the Beatle was so the fashion around the Beatles was brilliant, you know, so good. And so
Lynval,
that's
have you got any pictures of you in the Beatles gear?
no, unfortunately,
Oh,
them time there was no, you know, there's no iPhones or nothing like that, you know.
that would
Oh,
have been great, wouldn't it?
it would have been lovely to see that, you know, you know, with my afro and all that sort of stuff, you know. Wow, back in the days, man.
Fantastic. So from Gloucester, you moved to Coventry. Now, were you like a young man leaving home, moving to Coventry, or was it a family thing? What was the move to Coventry?
My father used to work at Doughty Roto that makes tanks and all the war machine. So after the last World War, they had to restock. When they restock up and rebuilt and have their full stock back up, it was made redundant. Coventry was a very industrial city. Lots of Jags, Triumph the motorcycle, Morrissey, and you know, loads of work. So my father moved to Coventry, so the family just moved to Coventry for
And
work.
how was that move for you? Because you'd done the move from Jamaica, you'd got
Mm.
used to the new life. Did you fit in straight away? How was it?
I tell you one thing was just quite difficult, right? At time, work in the workplace, experienced racism yet again. There's this little factory that I was working and doing engineering, you know. And this guy, he gave me such a hard time every day. I was like, oh my, you know, I'm not at school anymore, and I still gotta put up with this, right? And he gave me a hard time every day. And this one day, I just lost my temper, and I had this micrometer I was working with, and I threw it at him, you know. I got the sack.
No, really.
Yes, I got this. Like, I had to go do that time, which was called labor exchange, to sign on to try and get a job again, work again.
So how did music come into your life? Because you've not mentioned it apart from the
Me,
Cuban influences and then the Beatles. So how
mm,
did that lad get into music?
my grandmother in Jamaica bought me a little mouth organ for Christmas because she told me, you know, rip the silver paper of the cigarette from a cigarette packet, wrap it around a little comb, and I started blowing and making notes and playing in cigarette. Well, so I got a little mouth organ for Christmas. That was a little tiny little thing, and that
You
was
know
it.
what, Lynval? My dad used to do the same thing with a comb. And when I was
Yes.
a little boy, he used to do that with the thing around the foam, the
Mm,
comb and do it. It must have
mm.
been an international thing.
It definitely was. It was just so, cause you could just make up your own tune, you know, and blow along with it, you know.
So you were playing the mouth organ.
Mm.
And then where did that lead to? How did you get into music in Coventry?
When I moved to Gloucester, there's a wonderful man. His name Mr. Johnson. He had a little banjo that he was playing. I love the sound of that banjo, so he let me pick along with it. That's how I get in the string instrument through the banjo.
Isn't that interesting? I would never have guessed that. How beautiful. So the banjo was your first real instrument then?
I pick at it until I get myself an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what was the first band you got? Was the Specials the first band you got into in Coventry, or was there a band before that?
Oh no, I've got to give massive credit to a wonderful gentleman. His name was Ray King. He was like the James Brown of Coventry, you know. So we all played in the Ray King Soul Band. We all, you know, because he had lots of musicians, you know, young musician was in Coventry, so he could just chop and change as soon as you get bored with it, just go off and you know. So Jerry saw me. Jerry was with the Ray King Soul Band first. Then when he left, I went and replaced him at Neil Davis on guitar. And then Jerry said, we was resident at this pub called The Pilot in Coventry, Radford, every Sunday night. And Jerry saw me playing and he goes, he's forming his own band now. He wants me in his band. And I must have been crazy at the time, but what a wonderful craziness, right? I was getting paid to play in the Wrecking Soul band. Was going playing at the American Air Base and all those places of soul, clubs and all that. And I was getting paid. I left the Wrecking Soul band and joined with Jerry. I never have. I was living on £13.95 a week, and that's all I had.
Mm.
But music and the idea was so strong, I couldn't resist it.
It was your youth, wasn't it? It was your youth. It was the drive of your youth.
Yes, because when you're young, you just go out there. You just don't. You don't see. You have got no responsibility. You just all you do. You just want to go explore the whole world. And even exploring, those guys who climb the mountains and some actually accidentally fall off, and sad that But fortunately, I got right through it all.
Well, you didn't fall off anywhere, because obviously, so you started working in Jerry's band, and did that become the Specials?
We started off with I was the first member of the band when Jerry formed the band. Then Horace Panther, the bass player. Horace and Jerry went to the Lanchester Polytech, which becomes the Coventry University now. So they're college buddy together. So there's me and guitar, Horace and bass, Jerry and keyboard, Silverton, our drummer, who was with the Wrecking Soul band as well, Giant Jerry, and we stopped. That's how the band started.
And when did Terry Hall join them? Was it a while after?
Yes, Terry John. We had another singer. His name was Kim Strickland. And Terry had his own band, which is called The Squad. And we saw him, Jerry saw him, heard this guy singing, and goes, well, that's the guy that's going to be in the band. So we just poached him and put him away, and he joined the Specials. We'd never look back.
And you obviously started gigging. And then how did you get with the Two-Tone label? How did that come about?
That come about because every major record company turned us down. We thought we were ready. After we did the Clash's tour, the On Parole tour with the Clash.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready for the big. And no record company, Polydor and all those companies, none of them would touch us.
Wow.
So when no, everyone passed. So we borrowed £500 from a wonderful guy. His name is Jimbo, and that's where we end up recording our first single, Gangster. We spent all the money in the studio, and we couldn't afford to. Back in the good old days, you have 7-inch vinyl, A and a B side. We had no money to have a B side. So what do? We did something unconventional. We have the selector on the B side. Neil Davis had a song called The Selector. We said, well, let's put it and we got the special verse of The Selector. Two-Tone was born.
Fantastic. You see, sometimes fate has a strange way that I have a little radio show called Bangers and Chat, and I talk about the stories of how records became hits. And so many times little mistakes happen or fate intervenes.
Yes.
And you suddenly get success from where you didn't expect it,
So
your first hit in the charts, was that too much too young?
Nope, it was Gangster.
Gangster, that's it.
That's the first hit single, Gangster. Then we've got a message to you.
Stop your messing around. Better think of your future. Time is straighten right out. Creating problems in town. Routine. A message to you, routine. A message to you.
Yep.
Then Too Much Too Young was our first number one.
Yes.
Second number one we had, which was Ghost Town, which is the band's biggest record.
Now, talking about Ghost Town, I can remember that incredible video because it was the time of Thatcher's Britain. You'd grown up in, for the previous 15 to 20 years before then. And when we look back, Thatcher's Britain was quite stark for a lot of people. Some people thrived and some people didn't thrive. But that created for people like yourself and for artists, this area of this anger that they could write songs and create songs. And when you look at that video of Ghost Town, that to me sums up the 80s for a lot of people.
Well, when I talk about Margaret Thatcher and I says I'm so grateful for Margaret Thatcher. We got in the reason why 1979 when Conservative got in, right? Who inspired us to write all these songs? Margaret Thatcher. So I gotta thank her.
This storm is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Songs
I'm
like
sure she'd be chuffed.
yes, thanking her for the inspiration behind the because we look and the band become the people's voice.
Yeah, you were. There were bands like yourself and UB40 and the bands in the early 80s. There was so much creativity because you were all rebelling against what was going on in the country.
Because what it was, right? We were the voice of the generation, and if you look at it, right, the two-tone movement probably was the last youth culture. It's a whole complete movement. So we were the spokesman. So we had to be responsible. We had to take the message and spread across to the whole world. That generation, and we did that very, very successful.
How did it feel? Your second number one were Ghost Town. I mean, it must have been an amazing feeling going from this young boy from Jamaica through the hardships you'd had, having to borrow the £500 to get in the studio and make the track. How did all that feel?
Well, we went on from that, right, and we got to a stage where we needed we had an extended break. And then after that, what did we come up with? The Fun Boy 3. What was the Fun Boy 3 first single? The Lunatics Are Taken of the Asylum. A natural follow-up to Ghost Town. But at the time, due to misunderstanding within the band, we had to go down and have and form the Fun Boy 3 to release this record. And if you look at those lyrics that Terry wrote then, right, it is so amazing what it is. 30 years later, we got like, okay, Boris Johnson, the Lunatics Are Taken of the Asylum. What's his name in America? Although I live in America, right? The Lunatics Are Taken the Asylum.
Well, if you look about it, after Thatcher, we had John Major, we had the financial crash.
Yes.
So there was still anger and frustration everywhere. So that was obviously feeding into Terry's lyrics,
Yes. Terry, without a doubt, right? One of the best lyricists Britain has ever produced as a writer. Who can write songs and we're talking about the more I see, the less I believe what's happening in Belfast, right? And all that sort of trouble there, right? And at the very end of it, he goes, does anybody know any jokes? Who could write songs? There's another one which is, to me, right, one of his most amazing songs, right? Well, fancy that. You couldn't paint from the title, you couldn't tell what the song's gonna be about. Well, fancy that. You listen to that song, right? That song is about being child molested by a teacher. He was only a 12-year-old lad. I've been with him, for all his life, right? And I tell you, right, when that trauma has been with him, it never left him.
Did he, when he wrote that song, and obviously he was pouring that horrific trauma of child molestation into the lyrics, were you aware that it was his story, or did he keep it to himself?
I was probably the only one he told because about what happened, and that was during the when we got the Fun Boy 3 together. During the special, I knew nothing until he wrote that song during the Fun Boy 3.
How did Bananarama get involved? Was that because you were friends? How did you get with Bananarama? Because that's an unusual collaboration.
That was the genius of Terry Hall. He spotted him because that guy was. This is something that's why I will be going on and telling his story now, because I knew him and I've been very, very close to him, and even things like the lighting and this and the stage design, right? All the lyrics for the song, right? Who do you think wrote all those? Even the backdrop for the protest songs, all those. He painted all those. Him and Horace. Nobody knew that.
No, he's a bit of a genius, really.
He found them three girls, Bananarama, and it was his idea. And boy, he was so spot on.
And all this is on the box set that you've got coming out in August.
Everything in the box set, the Fun Boy 3 box set, our lips are sealed. Right? Yes, all right.
Hey, yeah. I was walking down the street when this boy started following me. Oh yeah. I ignored all the things he'd say. He moved
Did you know that Terry was poorly before he died, or was it a shock?
I knew, but when things like that, you just don't. I just said, well, what happened to you, man? I'm gonna stay in your car. I'm gonna fight with you.
Because it
I'm not
must have
gonna.
been a terrible shock. I mean, it was a shock to the public when he died.
Oh, it knocked me. It knocked me. I'm still running an empty tank, just the fumes. This is my first time back. 6 months now. I'm back in England since I come here in January to his funeral, and I went back. And this is my first time back now. So it's a bit of a timing where I can talk about the great man, and I will spread the word. Oh, wonderful! Check out all his songs, everything from all the Fun Boy 3 stuff, all the Colorful stuff, all the solo stuff. Terry was the man.
It's been wonderful talking to you. Really, really special. Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining us on Livewire. And I'm looking forward to the box set coming out in August. Can't wait.
Yes, man. And this from Terry. Love, love, love.
Thank you, Lynval. It's been really great talking to you. And I can't wait for that box set. 69 singles, B-sides, remixes, and tracks we haven't heard before. So you heard it here first. Thank you for joining me this week on Livewire. We'll be back very soon. Join us then.